Hey, what's going on guys? It's me, Aiden, from Cartoon Apocalypse, and today I'm here with an analysis of the new episode, Chameleon. Beware of spoilers if you haven't seen it, because it's the first episode of Season 3, so make sure you've seen it before coming to watch this video. Before we get into the content of this video, let me introduce today's sponsor. Today's sponsor is Amino. Amino is a great platform for connecting with other people that enjoy the same things that you do. This app is available on iOS and Android devices, so no one's left out of this party. So jumping into the app, you're met with your Aminos. I'm in a couple different ones, but let's check out the Miraculous Ladybug Amino. In the Miraculous Ladybug Amino, there are posts from other people, which include theories, fan art, questions, and the list really goes on and on. Since a new episode of Miraculous Ladybug just came out, I'm going to check out the chat rooms. There I can chat with other people that want to talk about the new episode in real time. The public chat rooms are my favorite part about Amino. Another cool thing is that you can make your own posts. If you have a question that you want people to answer, such as who is worse, Chloe or Lila, then you can create a poll and have people respond to it. You should totally check out Amino. You will love socializing with other people about Miraculous Ladybug. Remember that poll I just mentioned? Well, it's a real poll up now, so go vote. Who is worse, Chloe or Lila? I will be looking at the results and I will mention who wins in an upcoming community post. To participate in the poll on the Miraculous Ladybug Amino, just click the link in the description or the pinned YouTube comment and follow the prompts to download Amino for free on iOS or Android devices. Or you can download Amino by searching in your app store and then searching for Miraculous Ladybug in the Amino search tab. Remember, you can find me there by searching my username, Cartoon Apocalypse. Can't wait to see the poll results. Alright, now let's go ahead and talk about Chameleon. If you guys watched my promo analysis for this episode, you are going to find that I was very accurate in what I said in that video. The only thing that I don't really think I kind of got right was the English dub. I honestly didn't think that there would be an English dub of this episode yet, but thankfully there was an English dub. Like, the episodes are so much better and more enjoyable to watch in English if you are a native English speaker, in my opinion at least. So I'm glad that we got a dub for this one, because if not, it would have just been not as enjoyable, especially for the first episode of the season. So it was really nice that we got to see an English version on the first release day. Now, I'm not going to be going like frame by frame talking about what happened in the episode, because this episode really didn't have anything really deep where we needed to talk about every single thing, like the finale of Season 2 had. It was very just generalized, and honestly, I feel like they could have done a better job at kicking off Season 3, in my opinion, because Season 2, it had a really good start because we learned that Gabriel, I guess, was Hawkmoth. Now, we kind of already knew that he was from Season 1, but it was our first confirmation. We didn't actually officially know if he was or not. That was just a guess that we had. But with that being said, I feel that Season 3, Episode 1, it wasn't a bad episode because we got Adrianette, which is one of the things that I talked about in my promo analysis, is I thought that at the end we would get something like that, and we did. 2, I said that this episode would have a good amount of plot in it, and we didn't see Myra at all, so it's not like it was that kind of plot. The plot was more setting up for the future. And I kind of talked about in the promo analysis that since Lila played a big role in the Season 2 finale, that seeing her on the first episode of Season 3 was a pretty big deal. And especially since Lila is now officially in the class again, we are going to be seeing a head-on rival with Marinette, which will just increase the tensions in the classroom at all times. It's really truly amazing. Now, one thing that I had expected, but I don't think I really brought up in the promo analysis video that I made, is that Marinette was actually the first person that Hawkmoth was releasing his Akuma to. It wasn't like he was sending the Akuma out to Lila originally. The Akuma eventually just went to Lila. He sent it out to go to Marinette, which was interesting, and I feel like I could have guessed that. I just didn't bring it up because I didn't feel it was necessary, and since we kind of saw that clip of the Akuma heading towards Marinette, that kind of just like said that it was going to her originally. I just never like officially said it in that video, but that was pretty interesting to see that she got pretty worked up about Lila, like just everything that happened throughout that day. Now, Marinette at the end of the episode definitely grew up as a person, just because we can see that she was very happy and she wasn't being a head-on opponent against Lila. At the very end, she was just trying to be kind, and Lila was the one who was actually being like mad at Marinette. So that was interesting to see at the very end. Just, their little conversation kind of hinting to the fact that Lila is going to play a bigger role in this season. Now, one of my favorite parts in the episode is actually at the end when the class was sitting in their seats, finally, I guess. It was really funny how Adrien came up and sat with Marinette, and then the fact that Lila was like, oh, well, I can sit in the back now, and then Marinette moved up, and then just the whole thing, how everyone ended up going back to their original seats, and Lila ended up sitting in the back. I thought that was hilarious. That was my favorite part in this episode. I don't exactly know why. It was also the Adrienne moment that I talked about earlier in this video, and in the promo analysis video, I had talked about there being some sort of Adrienne moment, just because this episode, from the trailer, it just kind of screamed that it would have some sort of Adrienne moment, so I was like, alright, well, I'll go ahead and say that it will, and it did. Now, kind of going back to that whole, this episode wasn't really the best example of a new season start-out episode that there could have been. Just, there was things, this could have just been like, another episode of season 2. This didn't have to be the start of season 3. There wasn't anything special that was strictly from season 3 other than Lila coming back to the school, but Lila could have came back in season 2 as well. It's just, this episode I feel could have been presented in a little bit of a better way. And just starting out from the very beginning, I was already like, oh, this episode isn't going to be anything too special, because the intro was the exact same as season 2. Now, it may have been a little bit different, but it wasn't anything really noticeable. It was the same thing, pretty much. There wasn't like any difference. Now, that made me very sad that the intro hadn't changed at all, because you can tell a lot from a series intro, and the season 1 and 2 intro did change a little bit, but now this one didn't. The season 2 and 3 didn't change at all, which I find very surprising, especially since they're introducing a new villain in this season. So maybe in the episode that we first see Myra, we will get a new intro, because that would be amazing. And talking about Myra, we didn't see Myra at all in this episode, which I guess is to be expected, but at the same time I was hoping that we would see Myra. So the fact that Myra didn't show up in this episode means that it isn't a very intense episode. My guess is that the show writers are going to do something very similar to what they did last season. They're going to have some episodes be really good and have new, superheroes, like they'll bring in Carapace and just things like that. And then they'll just have some where it's just Cat Noir and Ladybug fighting, which it would have been nice to see Myra appear more. And by all means, I have no idea. Maybe Myra will appear in every single episode from this point on, but that's just not what I'm feeling is going to happen. I have a feeling that whenever we see Myra here, it will be a more important episode and we will see multiple villains, and my guess is it will not be every single episode, which is kind of sad, because season 3 I was getting really excited because I wanted to see Myra, more heroes, more battles, etc. But it doesn't appear that we will be getting it a lot in this season, or as much as we would want. It may still be a good amount. Now, another thing that I wanted to mention, just in case you didn't know, Marinette was able to fend off the Akuma, which we knew that people could fend off Akumas just strictly from just season 2. So it's not surprising that we saw Marinette fend off the Akuma. I even said in the promo that she's not going to get Akumatized, there's no way. But this is the first time that we've seen Marinette threatened by an Akuma, which is very interesting, so maybe we will see it happen more throughout the season. But I don't think we will too much, just simply because Marinette came out as a changed person at the end of this episode after talking with Adrien, and that was pretty cool. Now, another thing that I want to mention is that Adrien also knows that Lila is a liar. They actually really rhyme. But this means that Marinette and Adrien know something about Lila that everybody else doesn't, which means that Adrien might connect with Marinette a little bit more after something happens. Just simply knowing this fact, this means that Adrien will not fall for Lila, and that just is good, because all of the tensions that the fans had, especially from that promo about Adrien maybe falling for Lila, is all gone, because Adrien does know that Lila is a liar and he's not going to fall for her tricks. So that's really it for this episode. That's like super important to talk about, I guess. For it being the start of season 3, it lacked a little bit in what I would have liked to see, but that doesn't mean that this season's going to be bad. It's just the first impression, and the first impression is always very important for anything, really. So I was a little bit disappointed, especially, I think the biggest disappointing part in this episode was just the intro. They should have changed up the intro, made it different, and that would have just been the best thing to see. But other than that, this episode was really just very similar to any other season 2. Like, this episode you could have just plugged into season 2 and I would have had no idea that it was meant for season 3. But anyway, guys, I think that's really going to be it for this analysis video. If you guys did enjoy, leave a like and subscribe for more content similar to this, if you're interested, of course. But with that being said, I'll talk to you guys later. Goodbye.